All right, we got everyone on. Welcome, guys. My name is Sparky. We have Mookie today here as well, and this is for Ask a Puppy Trainer Show, episode 118. And we actually have a lot of good questions today. We got a large variation of different questions, which is what I like.
Mookie, sir, that's inappropriate. Good job.
All right, so this is from Christian TBH. Welcome back, good sir. You had some really good questions a couple weeks ago. Let's see if you got some more good ones for me. How much water should a 16-week golden retriever get per day? Is it okay just during or after meals? So because of the heat, and honestly, just in general, really, you want to give a bit more water than just meals. And the reason I say is if you only give water during meals, then you're going to have a lot of accidents. You have to give a lot more water if you're only going to give it twice a day. And puppies are likely to have accidents if you give too much water. Plus, when they eventually go to the bathroom and urinate outside, then they're going to have much less water inside of them to actually like quench that thirst. So I would say if you go off of my measurement, it's a half cup of water per 30 pounds of body weight every 2 to 3 hours. Let me say that one more time. I'll say it 3 more times. Half cup of water per 30 pounds of body weight every 2 to 3 hours. Half cup of water per 30 pounds of body weight every 2 to 3 hours. It's the national average of what most dogs need. However, there are certain breeds that need more, like Dalmatians. I think Weimaraners might need a little bit more too. Certain breeds have kidney and liver issues, and they do need a little bit more water because of that. Second question is, my 16-week-old golden doodle or golden retriever hates being in his crate when we aren't home. When we've tried treats, lick mats, Kongs, and the only thing he likes is the lick mat. He'll eat it, but he will not stop barking after even 1 to 2 hours later. Okay, so he barks for 1 to 2 hours or even more than that. I think that's what he's trying to say. Any advice to get him comfortable when being home alone? Couple different things. So one, how much affection are you giving him before he leaves? What kind of training are you doing? What's up, Kimberly?
Yeah, follow-up question.
Same person? Okay. For the water? Okay. Let me answer the follow-up question real quick. Will you just always have water available all day? For adult dogs, yeah. I mean, we have it available all day for our dogs. Our dogs are 9-11. They've had water since they were 4 years old, 3 years old. But most owners who come to the show have young puppies, and young puppies can't really have water all day long because they drink in abundance and then they have accidents. But if you think about how much water we're giving water every 2 to 3 hours with a potty in between there, or even 2 potties in between there. So you're not limiting water to the point to where they're not getting enough. If anything, you might even be giving an excess, and it teaches you how much water you can actually give them. When puppies hit a certain age and they can regulate their own water intake, then they do so, and they don't drink so much that they have accidents in the home, in the crate, around the home, wherever it is. So the biggest thing about water measurements is so you know exactly how much water your puppy needs. So, I mean, yeah, you can give water all day long when they hit a certain age and they're no longer having accidents, and their bladder control is very, very strong. Back to our other question. Going in the crate, being comfortable in the crate, being comfortable with being left alone. When we give our dogs a lot of affection before we leave, let me give an example. Okay, Mookie, you're a good boy. I love you. You're a good boy. Okay, go in your house. Good job. Yeah. And then we leave. He tried to bite my face. But all of that energy adds stimulation. The more stimulation we add, it gets multiplied by 1,000 by the time it hits the dog. So if you're super excitable, very affectionate, very loving to your dog before you leave, your dog is sitting in the crate like, are you crazy? You gave me all this love. Why would I want to stay in the crate? It's challenging for dogs when they have too much affection before going in. And I might even take a step farther. I might do a 10-15 minute walk with them, training walk, all commands. Come home, do another 5-10 minutes of like place pattern, which is play, sit, down, stay. Come, sit, down, stay. Place, sit, down, stay. Come, sit, down, stay. Your come is the bridge between place and being on the ground, and your down stay is getting calm and relaxed from your dog. And if your puppy isn't there yet in training, you could even do place pattern in the more basic form, which is place, sit, good. Heel, heel, place, sit, good. It gives the brain an opportunity to quiet and settle down. And Instagram is pause. Hold on with me, TikTok. There we go. And then by the time that they go into the crate, their brain is more settled. Their brain is more calm.
For Instagram again.
The brain is more settled, the brain is more calm by the time you put him in the crate after doing all the training with him. And honestly, I had one client, the dog's name was Bodhi, and it was probably 3 or 4 years ago, right at the beginning of COVID, and she got this dog as a comfort for her, and the dog couldn't be left alone. It screamed all day long. And when we started doing training, I was very adamant about doing daytime crating when they were home. Most people don't crate their dogs when they're home. They only crate when they leave. Most people that come to my show crate the dogs when they're home because it's advice that I give on a weekly basis. When you only crate when you leave, your crate is a negative association of you being gone, them being left alone. You begin crating when you're home. Crate is in a completely separate room from you guys. I usually put it in a guest bedroom or a master bedroom because I tend to only be in our bedroom at night when we're going to sleep. And for the most of the day, I'm moving around the outside of our home or the main living area of our home. So then the puppy starts learning that they can be by themselves with you home in the crate without panicking. They can be in the crate by themselves when you're not home without panicking. But when it comes down to it, if they bark, they bark. I mean, you're not home, so just kind of let them do their thing, and they'll eventually start getting over it. And the more common routines you practice, the better off they will be to settle more quickly. Just like Mookie. He was biting my face before. Now he's laying down and chilling. Or seeking escape. I'm going to go with seeking escape. We'll see. We'll see in a second. If he jumps off, Kimberly, will you put him away? Thank you. All right. Oh, tips for potty training in an apartment. I love these ones. These are good ones. Hi. I have a question. New mom of a 3-month-old mini Schnauzer. How do I train him to stop barking? And he has a playpen. How many hours do I keep him in it? And the next part of her same question was, whenever I take him out, he barks and has the zoomies and gives me a fight to go back in, barking, growling, everything. All right, so let's go with this first part. How do I train him to stop barking? I think it's when he's in the playpen. And that tells me, though, if he's in the playpen barking, it's demanding. And if it's demanding behavior, you can do what I call the 3-strike rule. Strike 1 is a firm no. It's literally like a no. I scared Kimberly. It's a firm no. Pause. This pause is very important because that pause gives him a second to be like, what do you want? And when he looks up or checks in for just a second, Mookie, you're messing with my microphone, sir. So when he checks in for that split second, grab a toy, walk over, give him the toy, see if you can redirect his frustration and maybe even play with the toy for a second. He gets into it. He starts playing by himself. Let it go. Walk away again. Second strike is he does the bark. You step into the pen, the pet cot, not inside of it, but up to it. And you kind of do like a lift down, like up, down, like, hey, settle down. You're not hitting the dog. You're just moving the playpen and making more of a loud sound. And in that second where he's like, he backs off, sit, down, come, place, because all this is in his playpen. His place, his toys, his maybe a little bit of water, depending on what time it is of playtime. If it's supervised separation, and the end of it, then there could be a little bit of water in there. But most of it is just a redirection. He goes to his place. You tell him sit. You tell him down. You have not given food yet. I cannot emphasize that more. You have not given food. And I do a few more routines. Come, place, sit, good. Come, place, sit, good. Come, place, sit, good. Come, place, sit, good. And now he's locked in, tuned in, because I've used food to lure his focus, but I've not given it to him. So after about 3 or 4 routines, now his eyes are the whale eyes. He's in work mode. He's focused. He's following. He's doing awesome. That's when I start giving food. A couple of those, and then I'll just kind of walk away again. I gave the brain something new. When you give the brain a job, it knows where to go with the energy. So now, third strike. Didn't work. He's still barking. First strike barked. Second strike barked. And now you're mad. It's okay to be mad. Everyone gets mad. We have puppies. They're like kids. We get mad at kids. We get mad at puppies. But this is where I want you to take a deep breath. Because I'm going from, and I release all that pent-up frustration. And even if you haven't released it, fake it till you make it.
Because this part's important. Dang it, Instagram, bad connection.
This is important. Fake it till you make it. If you're angry, the puppy can sense it. And the next part is to calmly pick up your puppy if they're small, or have the leash and just pick it up and guide them. And you're going to walk them to their crate, put them in it, close it, lock it. But Sparky, I thought crate should never be a punishment. You're right, it's not. We didn't make it a punishment. Because what makes the crate a punishment? Saying no and being aggressive or angry. So when I put the puppy in the crate, it's just literally a, That's me covering it with the towel. And I walk away. And my puppy's sitting in there thinking to himself, what the heck just happened? I was barking at mom to let her know what I wanted, and she didn't respond to it. I ended up in the crate. Well, let me bark for another 10, 15 minutes to show my frustration. Nothing happened. They didn't take me out. They haven't done anything about it. All right, well, I'm bored. I'm just going to go to sleep. Most puppies who do this frustration, barking, nipping, chewing, biting, jumping, Instagram, you're really pissing me off today. There we go. Nipping, chewing, biting, pulling, whatever it is, most of the time, it's a cranky puppy. Most of the time, it's your puppy letting you know that they have too much energy and they don't know what to do with it. I could play with them. I could train them. I can do all that. But you get to a certain point to where nothing you do works. That is nap time. Puppies under 6 months should be sleeping 18 to 20 hours a day. Certain breeds can do about 16, and dogs over 6 months tend to do about 16 to 20. So you got to find out how much rest your puppy's getting, but how are they going to sleep that much? On the floor, out of the crate doesn't count. They don't actually sleep outside the crate. They don't go into REM sleep. And here's their way of testing it. Anyone with a dog next to them. If you can tell me right now your dog is knocked out, fully asleep, it's a young puppy, stand up, walk away from them. If they perk up and don't follow, or perk up and follow, they're not actually asleep. They're not in REM sleep. They're in what we call a alert wakelessness. It's almost like their brain is awake, but their body is asleep. Sorry, Instagram, I'm going without you now. So their body is asleep, but their brain is awake. And this is what a lot of dogs do when they're out of the crate, because they're honestly in a constant alert. Any dog that can be dead asleep, hear a noise, stand up and bark, they're not sleeping. They're just in a wakefulness. They're in like a restless sleep to where they're ready for anything to happen. That is not getting you REM sleep. That's not tiring your puppy out. That's not your puppy regaining like energy and confidence and building up their tolerance to different distractions. That's just them waiting for something to happen. Crate is how you accomplish that. All right, I talked that one into the ground. Next one, this is from one of our videos going through your I don't know the questions. All right, how about if they refuse to go in and aren't food motivated? And this is from going through your comment suggestions. What was good and what we'd skip? Kimberly, I don't know what this is asking.
That was in regards to our crating suggestions.
Oh, in regards to our crating suggestions. One person said, how about if they refuse to go in and aren't food motivated? I have my leash on the collar. I get them as close to the crate as I can with the door open. I get a hand under the bum. I lift up the back legs a little bit and start angling them into the crate that way. So you're basically getting the head. I'm going to hand him off. He's tired of me. Thank you. He did good. He lasts about 18 more minutes than I thought he would. So you basically get control over the head with your leash. You get a hand under the bum, almost like a scoop, and you're going to lead the head and guide the butt in. And if he tries to put on the brakes, you could even kind of scoop the butt, lift up the butt, guide the head, and slowly start maneuvering them. You're going to get a dog to a certain point, though, to where they're maneuvering and they're like resisting. I don't want you to push resistance, because then it's fight, and they're almost always going to win the fight unless you like drop to the ground and like force them in. But it's not about forcing them in. It's actually about helping them understand it's a mutual to go inside of it. So that push, get them to the point where they anchor, and then just pause. Wait them out. They hang there for a couple seconds, and eventually they're going to get bored and just want to do something. They finish it off the rest of the way. Good. Break. Let them out. But Sparky, I just put him in the crate. It took me so long. The reason we put him, or we let him come out, is because I'm going to do that 10, 15 times. And then right back to it, butt scoot in, break, butt scoot in, break. I'll do that about 5 times. And then after 5 of those, I'll put him in, close the door, pause, open the door, break, and release them for food. And then I start doing and I usually do about 5 of those. And then for the last 5, I'll put him in, close the door, put him in, toss a treat in, good, close the door, pause. Instagram does not like you to do, Kimberly. Pause, open the door, they try to come out, no, close the door. Now you're creating a boundary. This is your first important threshold that most clients will ever work through, which is keeping the dog in the crate when they don't want to be there. Front door opens, this will leverage what we're gonna do with the front door threshold later on. But for now, just teaching them how to be calm and settled in there when they're trying to get out. Close the door, pause, open it, close door, pause, open it, and eventually they're gonna, and they're gonna sit. Open the door, good, break for food. So you're basically just acclimating to it. And how long is this going to take? It might take 3-4 weeks. It might take 2 months, and it might take 6. I don't really know. It really comes down to how much you're practicing it. But just know that every time you bring them out of the crate and you finally give that break and they come out super hot, I would advise putting them back in, let them come out, put them back in, let them come out. And eventually they're going to be like, taking slow, methodical steps out. That's what we're looking for. Crate isn't energy. Crate has nothing to do with energy. It has to do with sleep, rest, and relaxation. So this is how we accomplish that, by regulating the energy of going in and coming out of it. Where'd my paper go? All right. Next question. Ooh, oh man. All right, Dachshunds and crate anxiety. Ooh, girl. It is a girl too. Lily. All right, Lily, I got you, girl. All right. I have a 7-month-old puppy. Not really a puppy anymore, more of an adolescent. They kind of leave puppyhood at about 6 to 8 months. They become more of like the teenagers. So yes, they're still a puppy, but just like kids are still kids even when they're 16, 17, and 15 years old. But they're just not like the baby anymore, so they can take a little bit more. Saying that now for the advice I'm about to give in a second. She is crated at night, gets about an hour out, then we have to leave for work for 7.5 hours. Is that too much crate? This is not exactly what the question I thought it would be. Actually, that's good. You're getting a night of crating. You don't have anxiety. You're in a good place. All right. So whenever I'm leaving for work for 7.5 hours, you either need 2 check-ins. It could be a rover. It could be even you or your partner coming home from lunch or something, because the puppy could probably only spend about maybe 2.5 hours in the crate. If you've already worked up to that when you're home, they could probably manage that. Otherwise, you could do a large playpen, and I'm talking large playpen because it's probably going to be the 5-footer. It needs to be tall so we can't scale it. And then I'm also going to put a crate inside of that, a little baby water bowl with a small amount of water, just enough to kind of help them last throughout the day. And then I'll probably put like maybe a couple toys off in the corner. And if I were to make all this, it would be, my arm is the large area. This is like a circular diameter, and one side is the crate, bowl, couple toys. Other side is going to be a small potty pad if he doesn't chew them. If he does chew them, well, you're kind of out of luck on that one. Then he's just going to have to pee in the wherever he does. But if he doesn't chew them, you're in a better spot. But all this does is gives him an environment that's still moderately safe for him. He could still try to jump on the crate and jump over it that way, but it's moderately more safe than anything else you can give. The best suggestion though would be try to have a rover come in once a day, and maybe you or your partner can take a lunch break where you go to check on him. All he needs to do is come out of that crate, go potty, maybe get like 5 minutes of engagement, like almost like enrichment. Even if the rover just wants to take him outside, give him 5 minutes of enrichment walk of sniffing the ground on the grass and stuff, just let his brain start moving around. Then you can bring him in, put him back in the crate, and they can leave. He just needs the potty. That's the biggest thing. He needs to go potty. He needs a little bit of water just to tide him off, and then go right back inside the crate. That's my ideal situation. The secondary one is more for the long term if you don't want to spend 20, 30, 40 bucks a day on rovers if you can't come back yourself. This one was for a video. Should a 6-month-old puppy be crated during the day? One person asked, what if your dog hates the crate? How do you fix this? And then we gave her tips for it last week, so I won't reiterate those. And then she asked another question. Thanks for all the tips. I'm happy to report he is now going in his crate on his own. He just did it on his own. Still not a fan, but progress. I love it. That means you're probably doing some crate routines. You're probably building up more comfort, maybe pulling back on some of the affection you were giving. So he is more happy to go in the crate because the crate is being developed as a comfort zone. This is so, so important, guys, because crate anxiety is real. And we have the light crate anxiety that a lot of puppies have when they just want to spend time with us. That's separation anxiety and addiction to attention. They want something from you, so they don't want to go in it. The second version of separation anxiety is an addiction to affection. That is completely 100,000% different. Instagram, you suck. All right. That is completely 1,000% different from the first version. An addiction to affection means it's a physical need they think they have to get affection. When they don't, to get affection, sorry, mumble, just ask Kimberly, to get affection, and if they don't have it, they will lose it. Complete, utter panic in the crate. I don't see too many of those. Recently, in the last 3 years, I've only seen one, and it was a Dotson that she came to her online school, and Bethany ended up taking him as a private client because it was just that bad. But most dogs, they will eventually develop a comfort to the crate if they have that first version of separation anxiety, which is an addiction to attention, because you minimize the affectionate attention you give them and you maximize the training attention that they receive, which then puts their brain in a better balance instead of leaning too far left or too far right. Ooh, we're doing good. How much time have we got? We started 4 minutes late. I'm going over. Okay, we have 8 minutes. This is from our Q&A. How do you stop your puppy from chewing on your clothes? And Dana said, what if not chewing, but we go for our walks? I have a couple of Danes who like to hold on to my pant leg. I need to know what you walk them on. If you're walking them on a harness, you probably need to do a harness and a slip lead, because when they start chewing on your clothes, I'd have the leashes tied around my hip on like one of those like little like belt slings you have. Each leash going to whatever they're wearing. If it's a harness, I'd do the belt sling. And if they're on any other tool, like I know a lot of people like to use slip leads, you could even use pressure on the slip leads that you're actually holding in your hands. And when they start going for the pants legs, lift up, say no, wait them out, stop moving, don't keep walking, stand still, wait them out. They eventually are going to feel that pressure on the pressure points lining their jaw. You should look up on YouTube the proper fitting for a slip lead. And when they feel that pressure, they go, what the heck is that? I'm uncomfortable. They eventually address that discomfort by letting the pants go and focusing on the slip lead. The minute they do, good. Relax the arms. The minute you start walking, they go back for the pants. No. Both arms up. Settle down. They release. Good. You release. You start walking again. And eventually you're going to find whether the trigger is walking. If the trigger is walking, now you've gotten used to how the pressure feels. That's when I want you to start adding the pressure as you continue walking. You're still moving. They're still going for the pant legs, for whatever reason. You're still walking. Hey, settle down. Still walking. Still walking. They kind of let go and look at you like a crazy. Good release. And then when you release, pause. The second they commit to going back for that pant leg, no, lift up again. So now you're countering the intent of wanting to go for the pant legs. You're not just addressing a problem that's already happened. Now you're learning for the signals that they go for. Taking the first 5 steps, maybe that's when they go for it. That's my pressure as they're going down for the pants before they make contact. So you're countering the bad behavior to replace it with the good behavior like heel or come or sit or down. For every bad behavior we have, we give a no. But for every no we give, we need to redirect to a good. Because we're basically teaching our dogs right from wrongs like you teach any kid in school. You're helping them understand pant legs bad, heel good. And then you start countering the intent and they start forgetting about even wanting to go for it. Because you give them more value by walking and less value by biting at the pants. Try that out. Check back with us. Tell us how it goes. We don't usually talk about slip lead on here because it's a training tool, but slip lead's a pretty harmless one if it's used correctly though. But the biggest thing you need to look up is the proper fitting and positioning of a slip lead. It should be right below the jaw, right along the jaw line. If you put your finger under your jaw and you push up towards your brain, you're going to feel that pressure point. That's what they feel when that leash cinches. And when they feel that, they usually want to give in a lot quicker. 3 ways to get your puppy loving their crate. That was the video. My puppy is 9 weeks old and willingly goes in and out of his crate during the day, but at night cries. What should we do? So I'll be honest. At night, I find a lot of owners like to do that couch cuddle time. Couch cuddle time, we are guilty for. We cuddle with our little pitty. Cheyenne, our older dog, couldn't care less because she's hot all the time, so she's on the floor in front of the fan in the AC unit. But Ladybug, our pitty, she's on the couch with us. And my wife is very, very, very in tune with her, more so than I am. And she can tell when she's starting to get separation anxiety from being on that couch, and she has the first version because we don't give a ton of affection, honestly. But when she starts noticing, she's like, all right, couch privileges are up, off the couch, go to your place, sit down, stay. And she'll spend the rest of the night there. She can pick that out, and we avoid a lot of the barking and separation anxiety and demanding and nervousness that we get because of it. But if you're not able to pick that out, which you probably aren't, you're not a professional dog trainer, you haven't had this dog long enough, 9 weeks, definitely not long enough, probably only had it for 2 of it, maybe 3 depending, or maybe even just 1. You need to not cuddle with the puppy at night. And I'm saying you. I don't even know if you're doing it. I'm just making a general statement because this question is more to address everyone with this issue, not specifically just you. Minimize the nighttime cuddles, maximize that final training session at night, and make sure you give them 1 more potty before you go to bed. And for the daytime training, goes in and out of his crate during the day, is that crate closed and locked? If it's not, start doing that. Move that crate to the bedroom, make it quiet. Noise machine, white noise machine, little sound box, so it's almost like just like a constant lack of stimulation noise. It's nothing, there's no value. The dog knows it's not a real person in there. It's just something for their brain to tune into so they don't default to the barking, the whining, and the crying, and the anxiety. Gives their brain something to do. And then cover that crate 3 sides with a towel. The front that they see out of, the sides that they can see out of, and the back of the crate gets pushed up against the wall, or you can even put a fan kind of near it, indirectly circulating the airflow. And then, honestly, that's what you should start with. 9 weeks old is not a very old puppy. You probably just have a puppy that didn't get crated at the breeder's house, so they just didn't help you with that. They just made your job a little bit harder, but I'm sure you'll have no issues crate training this dog. Keep it up. You got it. So this is from the video. This is how to really get your puppy to stop biting you. One person asked, do you have deaf puppy training tips? We do. We've actually trained a couple deaf dogs here. So what I'll say is I'm going to go off of, I think you're asking about getting the puppy to stop biting you, a deaf dog. So you're doing strike 2 of your 3 strike rule. What? Is this for the same person? Same question? Only point out if it's for the same question because my ADHD can't handle that. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. What was I doing?
Deaf dog.
Deaf dog, yes. All right, told you my ADHD cannot handle that. All right, so I'm gonna go off of the deaf dog is nipping at you, and you're probably being like, no, but obviously it's not working. So there's something called spatial pressure and body blocks. A body block is your body's way of saying, this is my bubble, stop invading it. And obviously when we cuddle with our puppy, we love our puppy, when we're training them, it's okay if they enter our space. But when you start getting bad behaviors, jumping, nipping, biting, chewing on like your hands and stuff, all these behaviors are something you can reinforce your body block with. I'm standing here, I'm on the floor, my puppy's jumping and biting me, we're playing with the toy, and now I'm like, oh shoot, he's going for my hand again. Okay, he's going for my hand. I'm like, okay, enough, I don't want to play anymore. I move the hands away, kind of cross them across my body like that, and I wait them out a second to see what they're gonna do. Puppy is now jumping. I'm gonna bring my arms together like this, and I am almost even interlock my thumbs to give it more of like an interlock posture, and my arm is going to come in to the minimum part of my bubble, and when they encroach on the bubble, it's going to be no. To confirm we are not slapping or hitting our dogs. That is a negative response. They're going to understand that you're trying to go after them. It's not the same thing at all. Hands interlocked, no, bump, release, and they're going to kind of, what the heck was that? But you notice I don't leave my hands out there? No, this is my bubble. I'm backing them out of my bubble and bringing my arms back. I wait out a couple seconds. They look at me. They come in again. Intense nipping. No. And I wait again. After a couple seconds, they're kind of like, They back off and they sit. Good. Food, come, place, sit, down. You guys getting a theme here? It's strike 2 of our 3 strike rule. We're just kind of doing a varied version of it. But if that doesn't work, and it may not, and that's okay if it doesn't, we have other tips. You can do the same thing, but you have a leash on your dog. We should always have a leash on any of our puppies under 8 months old that aren't having any issues. Always have a leash on your puppies under that age, around your home, around your backyard, around your front yard, because it gives you leverage over situations like this. And what I mean by that is, excitable puppy jumping on me. I tried the body block. It's amping my puppy up. I will pick up that leash, 2 hands on it, I will lift up and out, not so they're hanging off the ground. I only want their front 2 feet touching, but not enough to where they can really anchor their body forward. It's kind of like a consistent pressure. And I'm going to move in, no, and I invade their space. In that moment, I'm still lifting. I invade their space. They kind of back off and give space, and they look at you confused. Pause. I'm still holding a little bit of pressure because that's still telling them I want something. Eventually, they're like, and they kind of relax their posture. Maybe they sit, maybe they don't. It doesn't really matter. Just the fact that they back off and relax, that's what I'm looking for. Good. Slowly release that pressure. When you release that pressure, their brain is going from, and they take that breath. And then they're going to jump right back at you. Repeat. Do it again. Do it over and over and over and over again. Until eventually they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not fun. What are you being? You're being boring. You're making it not fun anymore. You're not moving the hands. You're not having a good time. They're no longer having a good time, and allows them to settle, so then you can redirect them to something else. And bitey play should be redirected to training time. And if puppy doesn't want to train and is just biting, honestly, that's probably their way of telling you they're cranky, they're tired. Give that puppy a nap. They need it. Okay, guys, that was the last question we'll be answering today. You guys have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, wait, we got to do awkward smile. Okay.